This is a series of 100 films about Japanese foods that I've eaten, and this is a film about how to eat lunch on the cheap in Tokyo. Everybody in Japan gets at least 1 hour for lunch. It is so important that some companies turn the lights off during the lunch hour, forcing people to either go to the cafeteria or go out and buy something for lunch. And nobody, absolutely nobody, eats lunch at their desk. At most offices, there's a job called an OL, or office lady. It's a general term for women who work in an office, and depending on the company, there can be a lot of sexism in Japanese offices. Onaji. Women in this position usually leave at 5 or 6, then they go out shopping, and they work from about 9 to about 5, Lunch is always 12 to 1. Then you have the salaryman. Now these are the guys often employed for life at these companies. They got their job at 22 and they make a fairly low wage until they're about 45 or 50 when their salary increases considerably. Onaji. They work endless hours, anywhere from 9 in the morning to 11:30 at night, because that's when the last train leaves. And on top of that, they often work 2 Saturdays per month. So when you're a salaryman, you can never leave before the boss leaves. The boss wants to stay till 2 in the morning, well, you'll sleep under your desk. With these kind of hours, as you can imagine, after a year or two, people aren't very productive. But that is another story. What it means, though, is that an hour for lunch is important. You're forced to get out of the office. But one of the things about Japanese work lunches is that they can be quite stressful for some employees. It's very cliquish at a lot of Japanese companies. So what happens is that women have more time to prepare their lunch in the evening. They're not staying until the last train. But what if you're a single guy who doesn't cook? What do you do, especially if your salary isn't that high? Well, a lot of these people might only be making $30,000 a year. What happens is that in any sort of business area where there's a lot of offices, you'll find the mom and pop bento counter, where almost every bento box costs between $4 and $7 to cater to these unmarried office salarymen who have no time. Men who have $5 a day to buy lunch and need something filling, quick, and cheap. There's always going to be a lineup at lunchtime, anywhere between 11:30 and 1:30. All of these bento counters, you can order either deep fried salmon or some kind of deep fried whitefish. Alternatively, they usually offer some sort of deep fried chicken or pork cutlet, and you'll get a side of rice. At the bare minimum, the cheapest boxes will be served with umeboshi, a Japanese pickled plum, to help flavor the bland white rice. And sometimes the bento boxes come with a little muffin wrapper of okazu, a side dish of salad or steamed vegetables. And one thing to remember, these cheap bentoyas can be hard to find. Many are just a counter on the first floor of a random building, and they typically cater towards a local Japanese customer base. So yeah, a lot of the times the signs are only in Japanese. But you'll save quite a bit of money if you're traveling, if you try them out. The word of the day. The word of the day is onaji. It means the same or the same thing. So this is a very useful word when you're pointing to 2 items on a menu and you're not sure what they are. Especially at a bento box restaurant where all the pictures of deep fried foods might look the same. As always, feel free to watch this film 10 more times and follow along with me. At least that's what I do. Next time. So that's it until next time when we look at how Japanese people identify their local culture through noodles. So until then, sayonara.